All right, welcome back to Wmma Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with the weekend preview for September 25th through the 27th. Got 6 events with ladies fights on it this weekend. So let's get down to it. First up, we're going all the way to the UAE, to Abu Dhabi for UAE Warriors number 13. Tomorrow, which is Friday. First up, in the flyweight division, Manon Fiorot coming in 3-1, taking on Naomi Tataroglu, coming in at 2-2. Fiorot is listed with a height of 5 feet 7 inches, 169 centimeters. I don't have any stats for Tataroglu. Fiorot's coming in on at least a 3-fight win streak. Yeah, 3-fight win streak. She most recently defeated Corinne Laframboise via TKO a little under 2 months ago. Tataroglu started out 0-2 in her career. Then she has won her 2 most recent fights over Irene Gomez via KO 11 months ago, and then over, I'm guessing it's Chamia Chabi via KO TKO 7 months ago. I don't really know much about either of these two. I think I saw Manon Fiorot's last fight against Laframboise. Yeah, I believe I watched that fight. I'm not going to make a pick for this one. There's just too many unknowns. Also on that card, up on the main card at flyweight, Christina Stelio coming in 6-3, taking on Casey O'Neill coming in 4-0. Stelio coming in on a 2-fight run. First up, defeating Mainzan via unanimous decision 10 months ago at, looks like, WLF Wars, and then Anastasia Petrovic at Final Fight 9 months ago. O'Neill undefeated as a pro. 2 most recent fights is a unanimous decision win over Miki Matono 11 months ago, and then most recently defeated Caitlin McEwen via unanimous decision. She has fought all of her fights at Eternal MMA, which airs on UFC Fight Pass. Stelios the elder fighter by 2 years, 24-22 for Casey. Casey's the taller fighter, 5 feet 6 inches, 168 centimeters, to Stelios 5 feet 3 inches, 160 centimeters. So, excuse me. I don't know a whole lot about Stelio, very little. I have seen O'Neill's fights, and I think she is definitely a bright young prospect in the flyweight division. I mean, her last fight came against someone 5-1, beat Miki Matono, who's one of the rising stars in Japan. I won't call her rising star. She's definitely a good prospect in Japan. I'm going to go with Casey O'Neill here. Nice striking, too, from Casey O'Neill. Definitely go check her previous fights out on Fight Pass if you get a chance. So that's it for UAE Warriors 13. Also on Friday at Titan FC 64, which is going to air on UFC Fight Pass, has one ladies fight. Evelyn Martins making her pro debut. She's taking on Invicta veteran Serena De Jesus. You might know her. She's a training partner and very good friend of UFC fighter Roxanne Modafferi. Nice prospect there as well. This fight's in the bantamweight division, if I didn't mention it. De Jesus is the elder fighter, 28 years to 18 for Martins. They are the same height, 5 feet 8 inches, 173 centimeters. De Jesus, however, has the reach advantage, 69.5 inches, 177 centimeters, to Martins, 67.5 inches, 171 centimeters. I'm going to go with De Jesus on here, just because she's the one I know about. I don't know anything about Martins. She don't even have her amateur fights listed on Tapology. And to Jesus, she's not like a great fighter, but she's not bad either. I mean, she has a loss to Tanisha Tennant. That's no shame. Win over Carrie Kennison, which was nice. And then lost a split decision and a single round fight to Taylor Guardado in the Phoenix Series 3. I'm going to go with De Jesus to win this one. Moving along to Saturday. 3 events on Saturday. First up, coming from Czech Republic, is going to be Octagon 16. Has 2 ladies fights. First up at strawweight, we have a couple of Invicta veterans. Magdalena Sermova coming in 9-2, taking on Minna Grusander coming in at 6-3. Grusander making her strawweight debut after fighting at atomweight. Sermova is coming in off of a win over Eliska Pelechova via submission 2 months ago. Grusander hasn't fought since the split decision loss to Jinyu Fry in their rematch a year and 9 months ago. So Grusander took some time off to really grow into strawweight, and then she's been looking for fights pretty much all of this year. Finally got one. They are the same age, 31 years. Sermova is a little bit taller, 5 feet 5 inches, 165 centimeters to Grusander's 5 feet 4 inches, 163 centimeters. Sermova also has the reach advantage, 64 inches, 163 centimeters to Grusander's 61 inches, 155 centimeters. I like both of these fighters. This is a hard one to pick. Sermova, you might remember, is the last fighter to hand a loss to Kay Hansen a year and 4 months ago. She's gone 2-2 since then, but still, her most recent win was over an Okay, so her last couple wins are coming over debutantes, so not that great. Whereas Grusander is coming off a long layoff, and she's moving up in weight to a weight class where Sermova's already been fighting. And man, that split decision over Kay Hansen still weighs heavy on my mind here, because a strong wrestler could be the type of fighter that gives Grusander problems, especially if Sermova's takedown defense is strong as well. This is tough. I hate to pick against Grusander. I like Grusander, but I'm going to go with Sermova to win here. But I think this will be a very close, very good fight. Also on that card, up at bantamweight, Teresa Bleda making her pro debut, coming in against Marie Loiseau, coming in undefeated at 3-0. Bleda recently won the Octagon Underground tournament, which was like a MMA striking only tournament. Like, they had takedowns, but they brought you back up right after the takedown. Bleda's nickname is Ronda. They're expecting her to be like the next Ronda Rousey coming out of the Czech Republic. Anyway, Loiseau is 40 years old and 5 feet 9 inches, 176 centimeters tall. Tapology doesn't have any statistics for Teresa Bleda, which is, I find, sorely lacking. I'm not going to make a pick on this fight because I haven't seen Bleda fight actual MMA, and I haven't seen Loiseau fight at all. Her wins look over, well, okay, she's beaten one fighter with a pro win in her career, but her last win was over someone who was 0-6 at the time. So, yeah, not going to make a pick on this one. Staying in Europe, though, we have Bellator Euro Series 8. A couple of ladies' fights on this card. Both of them in the strawweight division, unusual for Bellator. First up, we have Danny Nealon coming in 2-0, taking on Claire Lopez coming in 4-2. Claire Lopez, I'm going to guess, is the older fighter at 31 years. Don't have an age for Nealon. Nealon, however, is the taller fighter, 5 feet 6 inches, 168 centimeters, to Lopez's 5 feet 2 inches, 157 centimeters. I'm going to go with Nealon on this one because she is a very strong wrestler, very strong ground fighter. Whereas Lopez is 4-2. She's coming off a single win via ground and pound, TKO. But if you look at her 2 losses before that, both were submissions. First to armbar and then rear naked choke. Whereas Milan actually fought earlier this year, and then she's actually fought twice in the last calendar year. Whereas Lopez, her most recent fight is over a year ago, and her fight before that was a year and a half ago. So Milan's coming in the fresher fighter, also going to be very strong in an area where Lopez seems to be at the weakest. So that's why I'm going with Danny Milan. Oh shoot. I accidentally closed that window, so we got to go back. Staying on Bellator Euro Series 8, also at strawweight, Alexandra Toncheva coming in 2-1-1, taking on Kiara Beastie Barbie Penko coming in 4-2. Toncheva coming in off of a decision win like a year and 4 months ago. Before that, though, she had a draw over Camila Rivarola. Not a draw over, a draw with Camila Rivarola. Penko, though, has been having some bad luck. She lost her EFC title to Karolina Wojcik via split decision a year and 9 months ago, and then most recently lost her Bellator debut to Danny Milan, who was making her, I think, her pro debut at the time. Or no, she was like 1-0. That was 7 months ago. Toncheva is the elder fighter, 29 years to Penko's 24 years. Let's see. And looks like Toncheva is 1 inch taller, 5 feet 5 inches, 164 centimeters, to Penko's 5 feet 4 inches, 163 centimeters. So you look at Penko's last 3 wins, and they were all by submission. You look at Milan's wins, their decisions, and her only loss is actually via decision as well. Okay, I thought that was a submission loss. Okay, so that one takes that prediction out of the window. I don't have a pick for this one. I was going to pick Penko because of those submission wins, but it doesn't look like Toncheva is particularly vulnerable to him. I haven't seen Toncheva fight since her loss to Kana Asakura, and that was like 3.5 years ago. Penko is on that in a bit of a rough spot right now. I mean, she went from undefeated to having lost her last 2. However, she's fighting in her home country of Italy. You got to think Bellator isn't looking to give her too tough of an opponent here. Yeah, I don't know on this one, so I'm going to skip making a pick for this one. Which brings us to the big event this weekend, UFC 253, going down in Abu Dhabi. However, disappointingly, only 1 ladies fight on the card. 2 of the fights that were on here got pushed back. So the only ladies fight on the card, Ketlen Vieira versus Sijara Eubanks. Fenomeno, Ketlen Vieira coming in 10-1. Sijara Eubanks coming in 6-4. Vieira coming in off of her lone career loss so far to Irene Aldana via KO 9 months ago. Eubanks riding 2 wins into this fight. First up over Sarah Morris 4 months ago via unanimous decision, and then picking up a nice win over Julia Avila just a week ago, a little over a week ago. And she was the underdog in that fight as well. Eubanks is the older fighter, 35 years to Vieira's 29. Vieira is the taller fighter, 5 feet 8 inches, 173 centimeters, to Eubanks is 5 feet 4 inches, 163 centimeters. Vieira also has a slight reach advantage. The reach comes a lot closer here. 68 inches, 173 centimeters for Vieira, to 67 inches, 170 centimeters for Sarge. You know, if Eubanks had lost to Avila last week and was still taking this fight, there's no way I'd be picking her. Now, this fight becomes a lot closer. Vieira, coming off that first loss of her career, was undefeated at 10-0 before then. Very nice wins in her career. Had that come from behind win over Sarah McMahon. Of course, that was 3 years ago already. And then only had one fight after she had, I think, knee surgery or something, and that was the loss to Aldana. Eubanks having mixed results in the UFC, of course. Tried her hand at strawweight, had to come back to bantamweight, where she started her career. Both do their best work on the ground. Eubanks very much of a grinder, not really a finisher at all. Whereas Vieira is a bit more of a finisher, has this arm triangle choke over Sarah McMahon. Did she have any finishes before that? One finish that I can see. Topology doesn't have a full record up there. My gut says to go with Vieira on this one, so I'm going to go with Vieira. But after last week, if you were telling me that Sarge Grimes will win out again, I wouldn't be surprised. And that's no knock on Sarge. I'm just not a big fan of her and her fight style. Vieira, though, is just between having knee surgery, I think it was knee surgery, and then getting knocked out in her last fight, you got to wonder where her head's at in this fight. You really do. I'm going with Vieira, but that is an uneasy pick. But we're going with Vieira anyway. So, final ladies fight of the weekend, going all the way to Saitama, Japan, which is, a suburb of Tokyo. For Rizin, number 24. Only one ladies fight on this one, and this is the fight I am most looking forward to this weekend. Reina coming in against Emi Tomomatsu in a strawweight bout. Reina coming in 10-3. Tomomatsu coming in 15-16. Reina riding 2 straight wins. First up over Alexandre Alvari via TKO 11 months ago. That was a given. And then most recently picked up a TKO win over Lindsey Van Zant 8 months ago on New Year's Eve. That was a nice win. Even though Lindsey Van Zant was fighting up in weight, Van Zant did have a previous win over Reina. So that was a nice comeback win for Reina there. Tomomatsu riding 2 straight losses into this bout. Both of them by unanimous decision. First up to Tomo Maesawa, and then most recently to Yuna Hon 9 months ago. Before that, she was riding 2 straight wins over Hikaru Aono via sleeper hold choke submission, and then Mizuki Furuse via double wrist lock submission. Tomomatsu's the much older fighter, 38 years to 29 for Reina. Reina is the taller fighter, 5 feet 3 inches, 160 centimeters to Tomomatsu's 5 feet 1 inch, 156 centimeters. I don't have a reach listed for Tomomatsu. Reina is listed as 63 inches, 160 centimeters. So like I said, this is the fight I'm most looking forward to. I like both Reina and Emi Tomomatsu. Also, I believe that this fight has the highest propensity for a finish. Out of all the fights this weekend, this one definitely is the most likely fight to end in a finish. And I'll tell you why. You look at Reina's wins. Okay, going all the way back to her MMA debut against Juliana Valentino. Armbar. Cravat. I think I was like an armbar. Body kick. Body punch. Body punch. Right hook. 1 decision over Elaine Leal in shoot boxing. 2 decisions. Samantha Jean-Francois as well. Then TKO to punches, and TKO was ground and pound, but the Van Zant's corner threw in a towel. So, out of 10 wins, 8 finishes. Very impressive. Tomomatsu is also known to get some finishes. Like I said, her two most recent wins were via submission. She has a lot of decisions in there as well, but a lot of submissions. Any other submissions? Mostly decision wins, but she does have a nice number of submission wins as well. No TKOs or KOs though for Tomomatsu. I'm going with Reina on this fight. She is the younger fighter. She is the much fresher fighter. Not nearly as experienced, not nearly as, I would say, well-rounded as Tomomatsu. But I think she gets it done standing here. Tomomatsu, hard to finish. Not easy to finish at all. I mean, her last 3 losses are all by decision. But I could definitely see Reina finishing Tomomatsu standing. However, Tomomatsu is a crafty veteran. Her win over Hikaru Ano, I actually had her behind in that bout. And then in the final round, she comes up for basically Hikaru Ano has Tomomatsu's back standing. Tomomatsu reaches around, grabs Aono's arm, rolls with her into the sleeper choke submission. Very sneaky submission there. So Tomomatsu she's getting up there in age. She's over the hill, but you can never underestimate a crafty veteran, which Tomomatsu is. However, I'm going with Reina Kubota to win this fight. So there you have it, the weekend preview for September 25th through 27th. Rizin's going to be early morning 27th. Let me know your thoughts on the upcoming fights in the comments down below. Of course, if you liked the video, please give it a like and share it as well. While you're at it, subscribe to Wmma Scene Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.